Hello and welcome back to the X-Ring. On today's episode, I want to find out if this 8.6 Blackout is truly a 400 to 600 meter rifle, so stay tuned. So before we get started, let's talk about the ammo that we're using. I'm actually using hand loads that I put together this morning, and this is a 270 grain ELD X, so it is a bonded bullet, should not come apart. And I'm using 4198 as the powder, not H4198, but IMR. Using about 15.5 grains, and I ran the velocity and the energy. I wanted to keep it right at 1,000 feet per second because the beauty of this is it is subsonic. Now at 500 yards, just for comparison, the energy of this 270 grainer is about 500 plus foot-pounds of energy. If you compare that to a 5.56 223, it is twice the energy at 500 yards than your 5.56 hitting that target at 500 yards. So I really have no dope for this. What I want to do is try to hit the target at 100, 200, 300, 400, and then hopefully 500. There is a 600 out there, but it is a tiny, tiny plate. Even with a centerfire rifle of supersonic speed like a 6 Creedmoor, it is the most difficult plate to hit out here. So let's go ahead and try to put these on the steels. Let's see how this does. I don't have any cameras downrange and it's too muddy for me to stick anything down there, but let's get to it. Now, one of the beauties of shooting this is the fact that it's going to be subsonic the entire time. So getting your Kestrel data loaded in is going to be almost identical to using like a rimfire, because you're going to use your drop scale factor, your DSF. And so for right now, I know I have a 50-yard zero. I have not shot this yet. It is a cold bore. So here we go, 100 yards. It is telling me that at 100 yards, I am looking, it's probably gonna say 1.9 or, okay, so this says 1.7. So we're gonna confirm that. So this is 5, 6, 7. And we're gonna use that hand-loaded ammunition. And we'll see if we can get an impact on this target at 100 yards. This should be pretty simple, at least I hope anyway. Based on the data that I have, sometimes this thing feeds so smoothly it's hard to tell if you've actually put one in the chamber. So I've got my mic on. Here we go, 100 yards. I'm gonna aim at the top of the body on the first water line. Here we go. All right, so really good solid impact. It's just a hair high. So I like the data that I've got. What I'm going to do now is go to 200 yards. 200 yards is calling for 6.4, I believe it is. So we're getting a lot of drop. 6.4, let me confirm this. And like I said, this was cold right out of the box from the last video, guys. All right, and there's a bolt out there on the target. I'm going to aim at the bolt. Okay, so she's running a little bit high. So right now, she is about 4/10 high. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and correct the muzzle velocity because I saw it at 100 as well. So I'm gonna go into gun. I'm gonna go to muzzle velocity. Let me do this so you guys can see this. All right, so that you guys can see this, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna roll over to gun. I'm going to click on gun. I'm going to adjust the muzzle velocity. I'm going to calibrate the muzzle velocity. Now we were at 200 yards. We're going to just scroll this up using the right arrow over to 200. Now it called for 6.43, but it's really 6 mils because it was 4/10 high. So what I'm going to do is just run this down and tell it this is what you need to be. Now after this, we're going to set DSF and we're not going to use a corrected muzzle velocity. Based on this, I'm going to hit exit and it says, are you sure? Based on this temperature, and yes, I am sure, and we are going to accept. So now we should be closer to where we need to be. And if I escape out of this and just keep hitting exit, when I go to range card, 200 should read 6 mils, and it does. Let's go to 300. All right, so at 300 yards, we have 10.7 mils. And this is actually a 1/3 IPSC at 300 yards. My left-right seems to be good. And here we go, 300. All right, man, that thing hits crazy hard. It took forever. The flight time was incredible on that, but it was a right side hit. Elevation was perfect. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to 400 yards. So far, she's been 1 for 1, and 400 yards is showing me at 15.7 mils. So 15, 5, 6, 7 mils, 400 yards. All right, here we go. And I'm gonna count it down. 1001. Oh, dead center impact. But that was a little over 2 seconds of flight time. And guys, it has over 500 foot-pounds of energy at 400, and that's a dead center impact. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to 500 yards. So far, everything's good. I'm not even gonna adjust the DSF. 500 yards is 20.8 mils. So, and we are out of elevation. I have a 0 MOA on here. So I'm gonna go to 17 mils. So I'm gonna need to hold 3.8 in the reticle at 500. 3.8 in the reticle at 500. Let's see if we can do this first round impact. All right, holding 3.8, 500 yards, and here we go. Impact. Takes forever to get there, but even so, we have over 550 foot-pounds of energy. I am having to hold a little bit left because of the spin drift, because we have no wind out there right now. It's really calm. But you know what? Just because I can, let's see if we can make an impact at 700 yards, okay? This is on an IPSC. 700 yards is 31.4. So I'm gonna need to hold another 14.4 mils. 14.4. Let me go 700. You on 700 now?
Yep,
700, 14.4. I'm gonna hold 2 mils left. Impact. Guys, that is super, super loud. Now, it took forever to get there, but I'm gonna let you guys watch this. I'm gonna see if I can zoom in on it. All right, so you watched me do it, guys, and yes, it was able to hit a steel out to 700 yards. One of the things that I am noticing is it's very calm out here, and with that 1 in 3 twist, it does have more spin drift. You do have to hold more left with that left to right rotation, more so than I've ever done with any other rifle. It is calm right now, and I'm having to hold about 2 mils left at 700 yards. All right, so they do tout this as a 400 to 6 meter platform. I do believe that is the case, and it still has a tremendous amount of energy at those distances, more so than a 223. Now, is it going to be less lethal or not as strong as a 308 or a 6.5 Creedmoor or 6mm? It absolutely will be less, okay? About half of that when you get to those distances. But being able to shoot this as quiet as it is in such a short package is pretty darn awesome. All right, so the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this mic, and this is remotely controlled. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clip it to the camera like I did with the 300 SPR. I'm gonna run it down about 50 or 60 yards, and I'm gonna shoot past the camera towards a target at like 400 yards. I want you guys to hear it from the shooting location, and remember, I'm gonna be in this covered area, so let's see what this sounds like. All right, this is 60 yards away from the shooting bench, okay? Going out this way is gonna be the 400 yard steel. So I'm gonna just turn the camera around, and I'm gonna leave my mic up here with the camera, and you guys are gonna see the 400 right there on that berm. Let me turn this around and zoom in. All right, so we're gonna try to do an impromptu positional. I've got 3 rounds left. We'll shoot off this barricade at 400 yards using this. All right, here we go. I am going to just put it here in the middle. I would normally favor a side, but we'll do 400. That works. 400 off a barricade with this little 8.6. It is a nice little package. All right, 400 yards. We got Rick on it. He's never shot this at any distance.
Well, 50 yards, that was it.
Yep. If you hold left edge, middle of the plate, you should be good to go. Oh yeah, nice.
That thing hits like nobody's business.
Hits hard. Good job, buddy.
Why don't you do that offhand, big guy?
At 400?
400 yards.
All right, I'll try it. You got the camera?
It's a chip shot. Let's see if it'll work.
All right, so. All right, Ricky's talking smack.
Over here, though.
Where you want it?
Keep going right there.
All right.
Then I can put the...
All right, 400 yards.
Hold an 8/10 left. Wait.
Money, money, money.
There you go.
All right, you want to try it?
I knew you could do it.
Don't want to drop this brass. All right, so we're leaving the range. Forgot to do an outro video. Rick, what were your thoughts on the 8.6?
Thoroughly enjoyed it. A lot of fun, massive impact, and a very quiet little package.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with it. What I'll do is I will release a video here in the near future on how I reloaded for it and everything else. Hope you guys have a great week. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good one.
Thumbs up button.